Glow, glow, glow. Hey! Yeah, I'm so extra. Express myself, I'm next up. Yeah, what more do you say? Coming up. Yeah. Come on, yeah. Come up now. Come on, stop me. Come on, you coming up.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm so salty right now because I have to do this from my phone. I'm like, no, I want my laptop. I wanted it to be bigger and better, but whatever, whatever. We'll do what we can this time. So,
Listen, when you were gone, I actually had to do mine from my phone, and that was like it was very awkward. So I totally empathize
Mhm.
with you.
And then I can't even link it to my Facebook page so it can show on there too. So people are going to be like, oh my God, are you
Oh
live on
no.
your? Yes, I
So it's
am.
funny you say that because actually you are, but it says that I'm not live on mine. So like as it was going
Really?
on, I was like, why is it not? It definitely said it was. So
Oh my
I don't know.
goodness.
Exactly. We gotta figure
Howdy
that out.
ever. Hi, Mo. How are
Good,
you?
how are you?
Happy Tuesday. We are back again for another Hop Series show, and I'm really excited about today. I am,
I
for
am
people
too.
to know more about what we're going to talk about. So, Miss Busy Lady, you just had birthing, you had catering stuff going on. You have been extremely busy these past few days.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm on bated breath and hook for two more. So, well, two
Oh,
more births
yeah.
and a catering. Yeah, like all
Oh,
in this next week. Yeah. So, yeah,
no downtime
I'm
for
over
you.
here just praying. I'm like, Lord, I need you to time this perfectly.
Just hold those babies in just for at least an hour and a half. After this hour and a half, just they can run loose and I'll just be out of
Well,
here. But
yes.
just hold them.
And listen, not both babies at the same time. We have a running joke right now because I was like, I
Okay.
do not want to be in one room and then running down the hallway to the other.
Right.
I
I
have a
can't do that. I
backup for
can't
that,
do that.
but still, goodness gracious.
Right. Hey, Jackie. Thank you
Hey,
for coming
Jackie. Hey,
on
Jackie.
today.
I'm so
All right.
excited. Oh, wait, can I just
So,
tell you real quick? I'm so
what's
excited.
that?
Well, there's certain things I'm good at keeping secrets, but this one, I can't hold it. I'm like so excited. I got this message. I'm like super excited.
Okay.
I'm getting a package from Jackie on Friday.
Yay. Okay. So you are going to have to text me or video call me or do a video on Facebook.
I
You
am.
have
I was like,
got
I think I'm gonna go live for this.
It's like, oh God, I finally got it. Y'all have got to be with me while I do this. Let me open this box up. You will
Yes,
not be, I guarantee you 100%, you will not be disappointed. You
I'm
will
so
not.
excited. And believe it or not, my partner is off on Friday as well. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
I think we're just gonna have a party because like that's my other half. So
Let's just have this eating this. Let's eat these treats. Let's have a tasting party. Just enjoy ourselves. Yeah.
exactly, that one is
Yeah.
coming. So listen, I'll put your invitation in the mail for that one when we have that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we are so happy that you guys have joined us
Yes.
tonight. We are excited as we are every single week about our guests and our topic discussions. Seems like everybody has been enjoying what we've been producing. I'm excited about it and how it's life changing. You're thinking about Jordan and being with us last week and Jaleesa being there and talking about all of those things. It was great. So I expect nothing less from today. Now I'm most excited about today because we're talking about Reiki therapy. She said she's sending you the banana pudding. Oh, you're gonna love that one. You're gonna love that one.
Okay.
That one right there just took my breath away. I'm like, yeah, I didn't
Okay.
share that with anybody. Nobody got any of that in my house. They looked at it like, oh, no. I need you to walk away because you will not get this. But we are going to talk about Reiki. Well, not us, but our guest is going to talk about Reiki therapy and what that is. Now, mind you, I had never, until I met her, had never heard of it before in my life. Never. And to hear about it and then to become interested and actually go through one myself, what an experience, and it was an amazing experience. And I, to this day, because I haven't been in a while, but I'm going to start back up going again because I would like to go twice a month. But we'll talk about how frequent she'll talk about that. But what an experience it was for me to go through that. I needed it. So I can't wait to have Ziomara Giddens on. As we call her Zio because her name is beautiful. And I'm like, what's the short version? Because I don't want to, mess this up. It's so beautiful. So she is an absolutely humble woman. She's amazing. She does so much. She's so caring, so loving. And when I had my first Reiki session, she had to really, really work on a sister because I was like a mess. But when she got done with me, I felt like new money. Like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. She's just, great.
Really?
So I want to bring her on. We want to bring her on and get this conversation started because there's so much entailed in this, so many things that we can discuss from the spiritual
Absolutely.
aspect to the natural to all of that. So, y'all, we have some great questions. Morgan and I put together some amazing questions for every show. Like, I'm
Yes.
always texting Morgan, like, okay, what are your questions for today? And she sends me hers and I have mine and we combine them and it works. Like,
Yes.
it works.
Absolutely. I'm excited for today, especially because I am fairly new to it as well. So, I'm excited to hear, what she's got to share. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Zio.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
We
Can you
can
yes.
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes.
Okay, good, good. I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Yes.
I'm driving in the car. So, I just want to make sure that you can hear me. But hello, ladies. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry. What's your name again? I've been listening. I'm like,
I'm
what did they
Morgan.
say her name was? Morgan. Morgan. Nice to meet you,
Yes.
Morgan. April, how are you?
Nice to meet you too.
So,
Thank
Zio,
you,
thank you
ladies.
so much for agreeing to be on our guest on the show this evening. I know you are in transit and you're going to be able to once you get stationary, get on camera for us so we can see you because the people need to see your face. But we want you to be safe right now. So just be safe with that. But this is going to be very laid back, easy going. We're going to ask some questions. I know the people are wondering what Reiki therapy is. So we're just going to get right into it and have you explain and talk about it because we never know. Somebody may want to try it out for themselves. And I will go ahead and say, I encourage you to do at least one session, just at least one to see how it's going to be. So, I guess Morgan, you want to start off? You want me to start off? It's up to you.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So, yes, please, Zio, tell us what is Reiki therapy?
So, Reiki is a form of energy healing. Well, it is an energy healing. It's another alternative and holistic therapeutic technique. It's for the mind, body, and the soul. It's actually a Japanese technique, but it's recognized and practiced internationally all over the world. It's dealing with your mind, body, and spirit, believing in a higher power, and the energy healing to heal the person as a whole. You can unblock your chakras, so going through your seven chakras. If you're not feeling well, let's say you have an illness, it can help with that it's clearing out all of the stagnant and energy that isn't moving within your mind, body, and spirit. I always tell people it's one thing to explain it, but it's really something that you have to experience because everything connects as a whole. So
That makes
it's
sense.
just that energy healing between the mind, body, and the soul.
Well, I guess to kind of go with that, because like you said, it's one thing to explain it, but then it's another thing to experience it. I guess a follow-up question would be for someone who is completely unfamiliar with it, but considers themselves to be, religious or spiritual. How would you explain that, where, it's like, no, this is not any kind of voodoo or witchcraft or anything like that, but, really trying to explain energy and what you do, so that even, someone who is a churchgoer would find themselves, having a session.
Absolutely. That's actually a question that is very common, like one of the most asked questions. I myself, grew up in a home-based Christian family in the church, and my dad is involved in the church, my entire family. So Reiki is not anything that is tied to a specific religion. Anyone can do Reiki. It's energy, right? So water is energy, plants have energy. We as humans have energy. You feel energy with intuition when you're thinking something, when you dream. So Reiki is just using that energy and believing in any power, just a life source. So whatever religion you are, if you're not a religion, but you're a person who believes that there is a higher power, if you're someone who's not even sure, but just know that, energy is real, it's taking that belief and using that mentally to clear out the energy and have it to where it's transferred equally throughout your mind, body, and spirit, if that makes sense.
Wonderful.
I think for me, now at the stage in my life where I am, how I was raised and what we were taught in church, this would be something that would be considered, oh no, you don't do that. That's of the devil. That's this witchcraft. No, no, no. But when you think about it, if I look at it from the chemistry standpoint of it, our body, we have electrons in our cells, and they are the energy that's in our cells that excites these cells to move and for things to take place. So this definitely, if you look at it from the medical standpoint, it really lines up with it, because we have this electricity that flows through this energy that we expend energy. It takes energy to make our body work. So why would this not be connected? And so as I'm older and more open to things, it makes sense. Like, okay, I'm not going to be condemned for doing this. I want to see for myself. So really getting people, and then those years ago, the older ones, they're probably not going to be open to it, but us younger ones, like, okay, let me at least try it out at least once and see what happens with that. Have you had some opposition from people when you let them know what you're doing? Have you had people say anything negative to you about it?
No. First things first, just me, myself, and the person that I am and how I grew up. It was something that I prayed on. Everything that I do, I've done for myself in my own healing. So it
Mhm.
wasn't because I just, learned and was into spiritual work. I actually went and was receiving Reiki for my personal healing and fell in love with that healing within myself and wanted to help others. So when I went into the business, I prayed about it and I felt as though this is something that it's my gift.
Mhm.
Everybody is blessed with the gift, regardless of your religion or, you know, um, what your passion is. We're blessed with the gift, and it's up to us to figure what that gift is and then how to pursue it and do our duty. So when
Mhm.
I received the Reiki and wanted to learn it, I explained that to people. My dad, like I said, is heavily in the church. My pastor, we actually have designated Sunday to holistic health and just overall wellness, where we actually have people who come that are other Reiki practitioners elsewhere. So it's just in explaining it that it's more than what society would pin to when you think of spiritual, because it's not just spiritual, it's not just physical, it's not just mental, it's all three collectively. So regardless of what you're doing, Reiki is the energy that you want to have your body cleansed and positive so that all three can connect simultaneously.
Right, right, absolutely. So, in your time in doing this, what changes have you seen or noticed in your clients that come and those that may come on a regular basis? Have they given you like testimonials? I know I gave you some, but what has been the consensus of people that have gone through a session with you, how they felt afterwards or what they noticed change wise in their life?
So the first thing, most people say that they feel lighter, like, oh my God, I feel so much lighter. It's like I went to the spa or had something lifted. Some people say that they feel like, the best way to describe it is like a hippie almost, like they're just
Mm-hmm.
floating. Some people are very emotional, but it's not in a negative way. It's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I needed that detox. So I can tell the people who are actually taking the Reiki, taking the information and doing the work, versus the ones who just come and are like, oh, I am doing the work because I feel the energy myself. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, a lot of people always have the initial positive feeling, even if they're emotional and they don't know why, or it worked up some type of emotions that they didn't expect. It was always a relief after. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
ones that come back again and actually are doing the work, those are the ones that really have the testimonies and who speak about it to other people and practice it or recommend it and they take on. And there are some people who it's not really showing a lot of progress because they're still learning. Like, it's a working process. It's pulling back the layers of an onion, if you think about it, because
Mm-hmm.
everything stems from childhood. We are not really, we learn things, but, and some things we may teach ourselves, but overall, as a child, you're always a learner. So these things are taught. Now, when you become an adult, it's whether you want to fix those things, you still maintain those same characteristics or traits and change them, or you use them in a negative way. But in Reiki and healing in itself, you're going back and peeling back those layers. So it takes some time, but the ones who return, even if there's not progress that they want, they're coming back for a reason because they felt something and they're looking forward to it. It just takes a little bit. Everybody's journey is different. So the time lengths, the testimonials are different. And they come in. I might have had a client yesterday that gives me one in a couple of days, and I may have a client that I didn't see in a year, but when I see them, they're like, "Oh my God, since the Reiki session, da 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 da." So, they're positive, but it's like it's not consistent.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, when I had my first session with you, I didn't know what to expect. And I know how I was prior to coming in there and um, just having to lie there and just try to shut my brain off. And it took some time. So she literally had to work with me just for me to get to that place where my brain would stop because I'm always going from one thought to the next. It's like a ping pong ball, just constantly going. And I remember when she finally got me to the point where I was really relaxed, I like heard myself snore on the table. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I was at the point now where she could move from one area to the next because it was just nonstop. Now I went in dealing with trauma. So there are special there was a special recording that the guided meditation that I went through for that. So, what is that like, Zio, for people to eat? Because I know on the questionnaire that you give out, it has on there one of the questions ask about trauma. Do you see a lot of people that have come in for trauma, or is it just kind of even out what they're coming in for with that?
Honestly, everyone comes in and there's trauma because I've
Mm-hmm.
never really had people who have been doing this or done it before or do any type of healing work. So everyone who comes in is all over the place because they've never had it done. So it's picking up on a lot of emotions. Sometimes what is present or going on at that moment is heavier. Sometimes they may come in just like, I heard about it and I'm working on it, but it's something deeper that may be causing the series of events that they went through or are going through. So that varies as well, but a lot of times it's heavy. There are some people where it's light, those people who practice meditation already, or um, they do other practices like yoga or even eating right, or just knowing how to just be still and cut out the surroundings. Those people have a lighter energy. But for the most part, most of the time, I can say at least 85% of the time, there's a lot of trauma.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That, yeah, that I just remembered the one that you had me listen to, and the steps that the person talking took me through. It really, I mean, it was real. It took me to that place, and wow, I remember so much from it. But yeah, it was necessary though, definitely needed for what I came in for myself. So
Are
Mo.
there, Zio, are there like specialties, or, like, are there people who, only do trauma, or there's people who only do something, like, is there like a specialty to it, or is it something that's just very general and you can tailor, who you see, or, how does that work?
It's very general. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%, but I am pretty sure there are probably Reiki practitioners who practice in certain areas or pick up on certain things. For me, it's just the energy. So at the moment when I tap in, sometimes it's just nothing. It's just heaviness and having to dig and unblock chakras and just get your body to relax. Other times it can be, they come in for one thing, but there's a whole nother issue that my energy picks up on, or just when I dig deep in whatever comes about and we discuss, it goes further. So yes, it is very generalized, because somebody can just come in honestly for a cleanse, or I've been having a pain, or they're going through something with their health and they just want, a nice cleanse their energy, open up their chakras and be in a more positive atmosphere. It can be other things that are picked up. Your hips hold a lot of trapped emotions and resentment, a lot of trauma in general. So somebody might come with back pain or leg pain, but then I can pick up on their emotions of trapped whatever anger and resentment that they're feeling, and it could be years, or it could be current, or it could be a mix of both. So it's pretty
Mhm.
cool overall. That's why it's an experience, because to me it's a deep cleanse. I took a lot when I went to different practitioners or just doing my research. And for me, I'm big on education. So my sessions are very informative. We talk about a lot. I do the Reiki energy healing, but I split it. It's not just me doing Reiki saying, oh, these chakras are blocked, or, doing a quick, do you have questions, and explaining what it is. Like, I consciously take time to really do a cleanse on you and do the energy work, but then have a post conversation so that you not understand what I discovered, but you understand the process of how it works and how you got there. Now it's your job to like utilize those resources and do the work so that you can get to where you need to get to. If did I explain that right?
Yeah,
It's a lot
absolutely.
to try to explain because it's so much and so many people, and it's like
Right.
I could go on and on. It's an experience, but overall, just people of minorities, and we're becoming more aware of the natural healing and calming, and it's okay to not be okay, for the lack of better terms. Our culture does not understand that across
Right.
the globe, not just here. So it's a lot to try to explain and educating. When there's so many who don't know anything about it to begin with.
Mhm.
Right. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
think I think the thing for me that was so key was post session, when we had our discussion, and what you picked up and what you shared with me, what you picked up from the chakras. And I was blown away because you were spot on, like having no history on me whatsoever, not even really knowing me that well, and to be able to just go through every single thing and nail it. I was just in awe. And then to bring up something in my life that I didn't even know affected me. And I literally was sitting in her office crying from this, because I did not know it affected me the way that it did. I would have never in a million years guessed it. So for her to be able, the gift that she has to be able to tell you what she picks up from going through each one of them, I know personally I would encourage people to do that, because sometimes you're holding on to things or dealing with things or have stuff going on that you may not really know is affecting you in a certain way, and then it goes back, affects your health, it affects your mental. You just need that to know, so you can say, okay, going forward, this is what I need to do. So I have no problem sharing, because I'm a transparent about my life. But I know one of the things is we have a throat chakra, and one of the things Zio picked up for me is that I would not share how I felt. I wouldn't speak my, be able to express myself on how I felt about things. I just took things in. If people did things I didn't like, I internalized it and all of that. And I'm like, how did you know? So that's something that I actually had to work on, to be able to speak, because it was like it was choking me off, where I wasn't really saying anything. So it's vital. Hey, I'm a believer and I'm a fan. I am definitely that. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, let's see. I know I had a question. Oh, is this like kid friendly?
Yes,
mm,
it is. So, my daughter, like, I know everybody talks about their kid, but like she is really something else. Like the way she absorbs and just her energy. So she's very fascinated and educated. She can sit you down and probably host this and tell you what I do in the energy work. So my practitioner, I would always ask her, because my daughter would watch me and then mimic what I was doing in the Reiki, and she would pick up on things herself, and she was like, you definitely can Reiki children. So I do Reiki on children as well. I think it's a little bit harder when the parents aren't sure, or if they're kind of interested but they're not ready to face that side themselves, so they don't necessarily or can't explain it to their child. But it definitely is, honestly, kids are the most innocent, so they actually absorb and pick up the Reiki and are able to benefit from it more than
mm,
the adult, because the adult is, we tend to kind of face, those things that we don't want to discover, what we don't want to admit or hold ourselves accountable for, where kids are generally innocent, so they're able to naturally absorb the energy. The only thing is, I don't personally work on kids the same amount of time that I work on the adult, because their
Mhm.
attention span is a lot shorter. But yeah,
mm,
Reiki is friendly for children, and it is not uncommon for your child to pick up on it and receive it, and then feel and actually be able to move, like, energy themselves. And when I say move, like, know and understand it, being able to touch you. My daughter used to like touch my dad, and my dad one day was like, are you supposed to feel something? Is there something in your stomach? I'm like, yeah, that's your solar plexus. And when I spoke to my practitioner, she was like, it's the innocence in the children. So it's very good
mm.
for children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
We I was like, I am a doula, and in my personal practice, I was like, we just added a Reiki therapist as well, specifically for our prenatal and postpartum people. But what also fascinated me is that you can use Reiki for lactation. I was
I'm a
like,
doula as well.
are you really? Oh, that's so
hmm
wonderful. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
listening to you say you're on call for births and for the call not to come in. I'm on call right now. So if you see me going back out the screen, it's because I'm talking to my client.
Yeah,
But yeah,
okay.
you
So yeah,
definitely
totally.
can. Yeah. hmm
Exactly. So you totally know. So I was like, have you actually used that for lactation as well?
I have not really used it for lactation. Some of my moms are not really aware of what Reiki is,
Okay.
and trying to explain that, and, everything that's going on in the pregnancy.
Right.
I do have a mixed ratio of moms, but I do get a lot of younger moms and first time moms. Like, a lot of them are right under me or younger than me.
Mhm.
And then there are some who are older, so I haven't used it for that, but I have used Reiki on mom in laboring, or Reiki
Mhm.
when a moment has become very heavy and I just need to calm the room, or to calm baby, and laid hands as baby is coming earthside on mom's belly. But I'm curious, because I did hear about that, using it for lactation. I'm not a lactation consultant. I don't really
Mhm.
do too much of that. I'm more of literally a birth doula.
Okay.
But I did hear about that. I just didn't know of anybody. So you're the first person I'm actually hearing the same thing from.
Okay. Well, can you talk a little bit more about that laboring experience? That's something that like I'm super excited to be able to experience, because just birth in general is just a very powerful thing. And you're right,
Hmm.
there is so much energy in that room. Like it takes me a lot to not like cry every birth, like because it really
Right.
is a lot.
It gets
But
emotional.
it's
Yeah.
a
Much
really
energy in
emotional.
that room. Like it takes me a lot.
What is it like to, I guess, to also see that energy change? Because I've seen like the energy in the mom change, especially when she's very self-aware and she's gotten to that
Hmm.
place where now she's got to be inside herself, and you watch that transition. And then it's like you don't have to say anything, you just might have to remind her to breathe, but that's about it. You know what I mean? But they're just kind of on their own path through their own thing, and you're just kind of watching them. What's it like to, I guess, to use that, or to feel the energy needing to be shifted at that time, and what it does for that birthing person?
So most of the time it is breathing. There's a few moms that are already familiar with the Reiki practice or just meditation and knowing how to control and be still. So in those moments, seeing them transition and me just laying a hand and easily just saying breathe, or just telling them to calm their breath and they automatically know, and the energy shifting. There was actually a birth that my first water birth at a birthing center with mom. This was the most controlled. I had a most controlled hospital and natural birthing center birth. The birthing center birth, mom knew, and she was just so aware the whole pregnancy, like down to the comfort measures, everything was to a T with her breathing, that when it got to the point to where I knew she was tired and was like ready to give up and she was in so much pain, she just kind of took herself, and I was like, remember to take a deep breath, like be in the moment, visit your happy place, and laying hands on her. And it's kind of that like subtle, when you're listening or you're watching a movie or something and someone takes a deep breath and that's all you hear, like in the speaker, like it's
Mm-hmm.
very intensified. That's literally that moment. Like I swear, promise I didn't hear anything else. The room was so still. And in that moment, mom took control because it was that last breath when she exhaled. Then mom in the hospital, she wanted to go natural. There was a resident. She opted because she was like, oh, they need to learn. Long story short, the resident said she was fully dilated when she was not. So mom was
Mm.
pushing for like almost an hour. And then me and the nurse finally looked and were like, something isn't right. She brought the doctor in and she was not fully dilated. So at that
Oh
point, her
wow.
body was exhausted and she did ask for the epidural. But when it was time to push again, which was shortly after, and being so exhausted and feeling defeated, she literally, like, I told her, relax your shoulders, relax your body, close your eyes, like, center yourself, and laid hands on her. And she literally relaxed her body. Her partner coached her through it. And again, the controlled breathing. The doctors was like, that was the most peaceful and fastest pushing, like with the most intention that they had seen with that client. So it really is you have to be able to accept it and receive it. That's what it is. You have to like, once you surrender yourself, just like I'm pretty sure you tell your clients, subconsciously you're tightening. And like you said, birth is like one of the most intentional, you can't even describe it, like
Yeah.
inexplainable moments, regardless of if it's natural or not. It's just your body in general. So in that moment when you see mom finally surrender and birth progresses, that's that same
Mm.
feeling that I get as a Reiki practitioner,
Wow.
because it's the same surrenderance, literally allowing your mind and your body to relax and everything just starts to go. It's like a shift in the room because mom gains confidence again once she surrenders. So
Yeah.
it's literally
Yeah.
that same feeling you get when I tell them and the energy is there, or they ask me to do the sound bowl, or the aromatherapy. It's really the breathing that controls it. And April can tell you in Reiki, we do 7 long, slow, deep breaths. That's the way to relax your body, placing yourself in your
Mhm.
happy place. And when you surrender, even in the Reiki session, at that moment, like April said, she fell asleep. She went right to sleep because she finally let go and surrendered.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that shift. That was it was yeah, it was amazing because I was tensed up and still just trying to what's going to happen, what's going on, how things are going to be, and then finally when I felt that shift, it was like my entire body just went limp on the table, and before I knew it I was gone and she was going. And when I got up when we were done, I literally was like, "Whoa, wow!" To be able to feel that it was something. So surrendering is a really big thing to really get the whole feel of it, the full experience. You got to surrender to it, and it's a safe place. It's not where you're worried like, "Oh God, somebody's gonna come in or something's gonna happen." It's not like that. Like when people go in for surgery and we put them under general anesthesia, they're scared because they're going to sleep and they're not going to be able to wake up nor breathe for themselves. They got to depend on everybody else to do it for them. So they don't know what's going on. But with this, you're not like that. You're just relaxed, just very relaxed. So I love it. Love it. Love it.
Me too. Me too. Is there a way, or like, is there a way for you to not absorb, like, let's say you were doing some work with someone that had some serious trauma? How do you not take on that energy yourself?
Mm,
So with that, it's called like putting on your protective cloak or coat for or shield, whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it. So it's or placing yourself in a bubble. The main thing is visualizing yourself in a safe place. So whether it's a coat, getting in a bubble, putting on a shield, whatever is easier for you to kind of, once you think of it, imagine it, and place your mind there. That's what you do to protect your energy. So I always do a sage cleanse, and I always end with Palo Santo. Sage and Palo Santo are smudges, generally to clear energy, to cleanse, and do various things. So I start with the sage because sage is known to clear negative energy. It doesn't mean that it's negative, but sage is used when you kind of want to rid that energy. Palo
Hmm.
Santo is a more peaceful scent and a more subtle cleanse, which is more for positivity and for clearing and it being very intentional. So I end with that one as a protection and to kind of lay over all of the work. In addition to placing myself in my little safe cubby or little safe space.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
So, what do you suggest as the frequency of time that people would come? Is there a set time? So, like people go and have therapy, like regular therapy with a counselor or therapist. They
Mhm.
may start off going once a week, they may back down to twice a month. Is there like a general rule of thumb, or does it just vary per person? Is there too
It
much or too less?
varies. No, that's what I was going to say. It varies. The only
Okay.
thing in everything that I've been taught is if you are getting and receiving Reiki for the first time, you want to wait at least a week from your first session because the first few days of after receiving Reiki is what most practitioners or myself, speaking for myself, I like to call the detox. It's like the purge. So you're getting rid of all of the emotions you feel. You're thinking about what you want to let go of or what you want to bring in. Your body and your mind and everything. Some people actually have symptoms as if they have the flu, like not the cold, but the body aching and the fatigue. There's just so much that you want to take 7 days to process it and understand it and go through it. But after that, you can Reiki anything various times a day. If you're going somewhere, before you leave the house, when you come back, in between, and receive that cleanse. So some people come weekly, some people are bi-weekly, some people are once a month, some people only come when they feel like things are heavy. They try to control and do the work and the healing and the energy work themselves. And they come for like a major cleanse. It just really depends on the person receiving it. However, the longer you wait in between, and if you're not doing the work, like intentionally doing it, every time you come back, it's going to kind of be like starting over, or it can delay the process of getting you to where you need to go. That's the
Mhm.
only thing. But if you do it, you received it, you're doing the work, like whether it's journaling, eating right, you know, wearing the colors of the chakra, researching the chakras, being intentional, those things will help you still move the energy and move further along your healing journey. But if you got the Reiki, you're coming home, you're not doing any research, you're going back to all of those same toxic habits or situations that brought you there in the first place, going
Mm,
back is going to be like starting for the first time.
yeah. I found that my sleep got better after my first session. And incorporated their meditation before I went to sleep at night. So, and Zio, you can talk about who you gave me as a suggestion to do, but I would listen to who she suggested for me every night. And it was, 10, 15 minutes, but I found that I would sleep so much better and would dream, and my dreams had really been blocked off, and I would dream, and then when I would wake up the next morning, I felt so rested, like I had had 8 hours of sleep. And I may not have had that, but because I had done the cleanse and then followed up and did what I was supposed to do with that, that really helped me. And I still continue that, like that. I cannot, I listened to some stuff last night, like I just need to do this, and before I knew it, it was still playing and I was out.
I get, you know, it's so funny. So like I said, I'm kind of new to Reiki. It wasn't until one of my last trainings that was a little bit more like energy heavy that
Mm-hmm.
um I guess it caused me to look a little bit more into, you know, just energy in general, especially when it comes to just birth work and then, you know, myself. So, excuse me one second. Give me a second, please. Go ask your brother. Go ask your brother. Thank you. Yes, he is. He's upstairs. Sorry. See, once again, this is why the oldest one is fired.
Fired. No, no prize for you tonight. You did not do your job.
No, and you had one job, one job.
One job, sir.
But now I lost my whole train of thought.
You were
Birth
talking
work
about
and
being
energy
new
work.
to it.
Yeah, it was just something you said. I'll have to come back to it. I had like it was like right there, but I just anyway, kids.
They will come and throw you off every time when they come in. I told Ariel before we got started, I said, listen, I'm about to start the show. She said, well, mommy, if I get too loud, will you just mute yourself and let me know? No, just don't get too loud. That's what you need to do. And so I've heard her a couple of times. I'm going to say, you did get a little loud. I'm going to need you not to do that anymore. Oh my God. Mothers, we have so much to do. It's like
I know.
multitasking all the time. Like, no, go over here while I do this. So tell us a little bit. So your business name is the Purple Purpose, right? If I got that correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did that name come about?
So my favorite color is purple.
Hmm.
My favorite crystal is amethyst, which is purple. I was diagnosed with lupus after my daughter's birth, like 2015, 16, around there in nursing school. And the color that represents lupus is purple. So, like, purple was just really involved in everything. One of my nursing school professors had told me that I was holistic. Long story short, she's like, you know what that means? And I'm like, yeah. So she said that nursing school was like a stepping ground for me, basically. But I was going to do more, like in I'm holistic, I'm healing, and I have a higher purpose. So the once I came out of nursing school, and I wasn't a nurse. I was like very depressed. I had got sick again, and like all this stuff had happened. I didn't think that I had a purpose because I thought nursing was my purpose, that that was the
Mhm.
only thing that I was supposed to do in life. And then I started looking up and meeting people about that had lupus. So I started talking about my journey. I made a blog, and I attended lupus walks. And when they said, you know, you have to create a team name, I'm like, So my favorite color is purple. The color for lupus is purple, and I'm finding my purpose.
Mm.
So I came up with the purple purpose, and my logo kind of goes with that. It's like the person, it's the heart, and it's the leaf. So it's like the mind, body, spirit, but it's also like your body, you know, the natural herbs and the representation of holistic healing, and then your heart drawing it in, like being the caring person that I am, and the giver, the provider.
Right. So sounds like your nursing instructor prophesied to you about who you
Right.
were and went ahead and started that ball rolling. Like, yeah, you think you're supposed to be here, but no, you're more on this end. So I know you. So you felt or feel you have reached your greater purpose, or you see where you are other than just being nursing? Because with nursing you can just get so in one frame of mind in one area, and then not, you're so focused on, I got to give these medications at a certain time. They have to, have a bath at this time, or we have to talk with the doctor about this. Now you're able, with what you're doing with Reiki, to be all well rounded. And how do you feel about the path that you've taken, because you shifted away from the nursing? How do you feel about
Um,
that?
I feel great. Don't get me wrong. Like, nursing is still in everything I do. Like, that's why
Hmm.
my other, like, what I call myself is the energy nurse, because I just kind of went into a different field and merged the two. So, like, that is never going to leave me. I just stepped out because with the holistic side and the medicinal side, for me personally, being the person to care for a patient and being the patient at the same time really humbled me, because
Hmm.
I took the option to not take medication anymore and explore alternative medicine and holistic healing. So I feel it's really just the bridge between the two. I needed nursing because that was the foundation, that was the education, because you do have acute illnesses like an infection. I'm not that educated to know what herbs and it can lead to something. So in that case, yes, I'm going to refer you to the emergency room. I also don't discriminate against those who still believe on that side. But for me, I found that side didn't work for me. It made me sicker.
Hmm.
The holistic healing did. So I mixed the both of them. And, you know, being a doula, I have the advantage because I had a client that actually delivered at the hospital that I went to nursing school at and did clinicals on the maternity floor. And my professor was actually working that night, that day, with my client. Long story short, my client had preeclampsia. I had like left to take a little break and came back, and she wasn't herself. She started seizing, and I had to call a code, and like the nurses had to call a code, and they came and they didn't think that it was preeclampsia, and 10 minutes later she delivered the baby. So in that aspect, being able to assess outside of what we're taught as a doula, you only know maternity and doula training. Maybe you may have a handful of programs or instruct you look outside of the box. But with me actually being in that field and training in that field and then merging it with being a doula, I'm able to see the broader picture, which is why I like to be a birth doula, because in birth, in those first 15 days postpartum is the most crucial. And a lot of
Hmm.
times it's missed because people aren't educated. They just think the signs and symptoms are when they're pregnant. They're not aware of what can happen after pregnancy. So
Right.
that's where like my gift comes in with my purpose, and then mixing in the Reiki energy healing and everything else. It's just a better state of what I said with the mind, body, and spirit. It's the
Right.
medicinal side, the mental side, and the spiritual side that I created my own path.
That's beautiful. I love what you're bringing to like the birth work. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it
I was
is.
like, it's necessary. And I'm glad for you to say how, you know, your nursing background definitely helps and boosts what you bring to the table as a doula. Because it is necessary, especially when you have to go into the hospital. You know, no, we're not always home,
Mhm.
you know, and
Right.
yes, there are, you know, our hospital protocols or certain things that, you know, we, you know, need to still also be aware of, so that
Mhm.
if nothing else, we can help educate our, you know, clients better, and they know how to better advocate for themselves in the end. So, you know, I appreciate your work, and thank you very much for what you're
Yeah.
doing. It's
Likewise.
great.
Thank
Yeah,
you. It's
absolutely.
for a reason. I didn't know that you were a doula. I don't think April mentioned that you were a doula. If she
No,
did,
she
I
didn't
may have
mention
That
us
forgot.
either.
So the
surprise, surprise.
so I'm like, wow, that's, and then the fact that you said that you've been, I think that's what you were talking about. You were telling us how you weren't introduced to energy work until now in the birth field. That's what you were
Yes.
explaining to us.
Yes, yes. I was like that. I mean, it really took me for a loop, and I didn't realize I was really just trying to figure out what my niche was, and my niche
Mhm.
really is to help with the energy for adoptees, when it
Mhm.
comes to the birth work, and being
Mhm.
able to help deal with a lot of abandonment issues, sometimes a feeling of, you know, no familial ties, not having any, even, you know, on your adoptive familial side, not having anyone, because a lot, you know, a lot of things go on in that time, and you're, you know, go through a ton of emotions pregnant period, but then to
Mhm.
add that to it, you know, I just would like to be able to provide a space specifically for adoptees that are having children, but then also for those who are choosing adoption, so that they can, you know, do a lot of that work ahead of time, so that, you know, as they are actually laboring and delivering, a lot of that trauma and a lot of the other things that, you know, we hold in, and that sometimes even shame at that time doesn't necessarily, you know, come through at that time. But I was like, yeah, energy was like, that was the first time. And for me, growing up in the church, heavily in the church, there was no energy. The energy is the Holy Spirit, and that's that. You know what I mean? So anything other than that, you know, makes you almost call certain things into question. But you also can feel that energy in knowing that something is your call and your purpose. And
Mhm.
it's crazy how every single person, April, if you haven't noticed so far that we've had up here, they have all started in one field and ended up in another.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy how it's like, you know what, sometimes you're like, well, I feel like this is what I was meant to do. This is what I was called to do. And
Right,
putting yourself still even in that space allowed you to be able to get where you were supposed to go. You know?
right.
So
And
yeah.
then to Azio being in nursing school, like she said, was able to bring some of what she learned there into what she's doing now to make it really holistic, to see those different areas and incorporate that. It's just
Yes.
a win-win situation, and it puts you at an advantage that other people don't have, which is awesome, because then you can be a lot more of a help to someone. So I'm like, well, wait a minute, where else am I supposed to go? Because I've been in surgery for like the past 20 years. What else am I? I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure.
I told you, just look, just like Zio just said, what she's bringing to the table, specifically in the nursing. I told you, I was like, bring that to the doula work,
Yeah.
because we need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got, you know,
Absolutely.
it's inductions. We're talking about C-sections. We're talking about a lot of different things where, yes, you can be able to bring that knowledge to the table, where now it's not like we're still walking around going, well, I know, but no, we do have some kind of background. We do
Right.
want to tell people to ask for, or if this is being said, at least we know, okay, you know what? There's no funny business here. This is what they,
Right.
and now we
Mhm.
can be able to, you know, best educate the birthing person to say, hey, listen, you know what? As much as this might not have been in our wishes, here is where we are. And
Mm-hmm.
here is where we're going to go from here. You know what I mean? I'm still here to
Right.
this, but, you know, you're in good hands. This is where we're going to go. And then, you know, be able to step it out. Because, you know, from the moment they say ooh C-section, they say it's like a carpet crew, and it's like everybody bumps
It is.
the person
It is.
time.
It is. Yeah, it's like you're pulling off the Indy 500 into the cockpit, and then everybody's like attacking. But the one thing that I did notice, and just kind of go to that, do the C sections for a minute, is that no one really caters or spends time specifically for the birthing person.
Yeah,
They're preparing for baby. We're preparing to do the C-section. Anesthesia provider is, giving whatever medication. They're talking, but they don't. They're more for that aspect, not of the calming, and what a doula would do. The birthing partner is just like, I don't have a clue what's going on, and I'm scared, but I'm in here. So having someone in there while this is taking place, because they're laying on the table, they're about to have this taken care, have this done to deliver this baby, and they're just like, I can't see anything, I don't know what's going on. So it's definitely
speak April,
very
speak
beneficial.
April, because they don't let us back there. Speak
They
April. I feel like
should,
they should.
honestly.
They
And
should.
I've seen that. I've seen that firsthand. How we are so specific. You got the nursery team. You have the pediatrician that's there, and the nursery nurses that are ready to take the baby. And then the partner sitting there like looking around, and everything's going on. And anesthesia, they're doing their stuff, but they're not really for the patient. They are, but not
Yeah.
in that aspect of
Yeah, no,
calming and
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean,
So
even beforehand, I know I've had to advocate for allowing my patient to just be able to, wash up or take care of herself, and I mean, right beforehand. Like, you want to feel like a person. You don't know how long that person's been in the bed. Sometimes you've been in there. I mean, my first birth was almost 40 hours. So, like,
whoa,
yeah, like that's a really long time. So yeah,
yeah.
no, I don't want you all up in my grill, and you know what I mean. I probably haven't brushed my teeth since Tuesday before I
Right,
came here. You know what I mean? And it's just very the
right.
list of things, and you have to understand that support
Yeah,
person needs support as well. That support person at the end, what is the birthing person gonna say? Make sure that my baby is okay. Go with
yeah,
the baby. So now that
yeah.
still leaves what? The birthing person by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
So, you
Jessica
know what I
said
mean?
it speaks
And
a lot. Yep.
if something happens with the baby, now that person, that support person is on 100. Like, once
Mm-hmm.
again, we don't talk about male postpartum depression a lot, you know what I mean? But or just support person depression. Like, it
Right.
can be a lot. If that's a traumatic situation, or it ends up being, very, very crazy and fast paced, and life and death touch and go from the jump, and then you're also dealing with it, you don't know how that other person is taking care of it. So to have someone to be on the outside to just
Mm-hmm.
hold together is necessary. So
Right, right. Well, I'm all down. I'm still
thank
waiting
you
for you
very
to
much for
schedule
getting on
me.
that soapbox.
Well, I'm still waiting for you to schedule me to come in and talk to your team. I'm all for that, to give them that aspect of it. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, we need
So,
to do that
Zio,
soon.
yeah, we definitely need to get that. So, Zio, can you tell the viewers how they can get in contact with you if they want to, for those that are in the New Jersey area, or how they can even look up for a Reiki therapist in their region? Oh, she must be talking to.
Yeah, she might be in the client. Well, we'll address this
Okay.
question real quick. Are there
Okay.
holistic doula delivery clinic practices yet, as a hospital alternative without vax and all those drugs? So,
Hmm, that's a good question.
doulas do not deliver, but doulas operate in all birthing realms. So whether that's a home birth, whether that's a birth center, it's a hospital, hopefully not the side of the road, but we're here for support. We are actually not people that are catching babies. So you have midwives. You have two types of midwives. You have nurse practitioner midwives that actually are through a hospital. So you can have a midwife in a hospital, on the holistic end, but still, in the hospital setting. And then you also have midwives that only do home births and birth centers. So birth centers are typically very holistic. I'm not sure if where you're located, the one here in Delaware does not have, they don't use any drugs. They have a few I think pain management things, but it's nothing more than probably like an ibuprofen type of pain management, anything. And that's for people that are low risk and are 100% certain that they want to be able to do a water birth or just have a natural birth. And the birthing center is absolutely amazing at just letting you be able to labor as you want. And so, yes, there are definitely places for that. I would say look up birthing centers. I would say look into midwives. Midwives will be the first people to be able to tell you. Like I said, you'd have to ask whether or not they are in the hospital or, do birth center or home births. But you can also have a holistic birth in a hospital without drugs as well. Just need to know what you want and be able to advocate for yourself in that time. So.
And that's very key because birthing people think that they have to take whatever medication, do whatever they tell them there. If you want to try it a certain way, it's like when we have patients that come in for a VBAC. So they're going to have a vaginal birth after they've had a C-section.
Mhm.
We have to come in on call and just sit and wait just in case it doesn't go well. But
Right.
they have that option to be able to try the vaginal delivery after they've had a previous C-section. So a lot of women don't, a lot of birthing people don't know that you
Right.
have that option. So yeah. Oh, Zio, you were back.
Absolutely. Yep. Like we said, that's part of our goal to make sure that you have options and what those options are. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and to be able to just say, yes, I want this, or no, I don't want this, or to be
Mhm.
able to say, hey, can you explain this a little further? Or why are you saying that this is necessary for me to do or to even consider? And then based
Right.
upon their answers, you can, decide whether or not that's good enough for you or not. If you want more information, that's totally fine too. But
Mhm.
educating yourself is the best way for you to be able to, you know, effectively have the birth, that you would like and desire as much as
And that
possible.
and that's one of our issues is having the education
Yeah.
and thinking that we just have to go along with whatever. I even tell my students, like, you as a patient, you can ask questions, you can refuse whatever you want, you can get more information. You need to do that. You
Yeah.
need
You
to.
have rights.
Yep, absolutely. So Zio, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I'm back.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
You're good.
No.
My grandma is, I love her to death, but I swear I'm the only number she knows. So she was calling me, and I'm trying to, like, get my daughter to tell her I'm streaming right now, but she keeps calling, so my daughter can't get in either. And I guess for some reason I couldn't hear you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad that you're back. So before you left out, I'd ask, how can someone find, number one, how can they find you if they're in the New Jersey area? Because I'm the only one here. But or how can they find a Reiki practitioner in their local area? Is there a special way they look up? Do they just go on the internet? Let the people know.
So for the Jersey area, I'm in Marlton, New Jersey. My website is www.thepurplepurpose.com or on Instagram at thepurplepurpose28. As far as other Reiki practitioners, I'm not part of a network. I know there are networks, so I'm pretty sure they can Google like Reiki practitioner in my area or Reiki practitioners. There is something, I apologize, I can't remember the name, but there is a network with Reiki practitioners, and some of them are in person, some of them are distant because there's distant Reiki as well. So yeah, just Googling Reiki practitioner in my area or near me, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, there's a network. And as far as the Jersey area, you can just contact me at the Purple Purpose.
Which I will be contacting you again because I am long overdue and I need to come back.
Yes,
Now,
yes, yes.
so let me ask you this. What is, and I want to, because the question was there and then it left. What is the most joy that you get from doing this, from doing the Reiki?
Hmm.
I love when people actually come to face accountability.
Mm,
Um, so when they get that it feels good moment, or we're able to identify something that they may have been struggling with and they couldn't identify, and that feeling of, oh my god, I didn't know this. And when they do the work and they come back and they're like, ever since this, I put this to use, I got these resources and I'm doing so much better, or I've moved on to this now. That's the most rewarding thing. And I also think that education, because anyone can do Reiki. Like I said, Reiki is everywhere. Like it's
mhm,
inevitable. It's a life source, just like air. It's just as important, but people don't realize that because we're not taught the importance of Reiki. I feel like it's something that should be in schools, even the kids explaining it. It's like the adults sometimes are like little kids because they'll remember their chakra. Once they
mhm,
finally get the 7 chakras down pat, or they know the colors, or they are like, oh, I referred this person, and someone else comes in, they share a testimonial. Those are all the things that make me really cherish and appreciate the work that I do, because like I said, this is something that many other cultures have adapted and have been practicing for many years.
mhm,
So one, it's not just our culture as a nation in the country, it's even more lacked, and it's not put out there as a resource and taught it within the communities of minorities. So,
mhm.
the more people that sound and look like me that come to me and actually benefit, especially the men. Just like how you said with the doula, as a doula, I am a dad doula, pro dad.
Me
I love
too.
my moms to death. I educate them, but I am so pro dad, and it is a relief and it feels good with the men who do Reiki, because our men need love too. Like, we have all these women groups and retreats and books and journals. It's my goal for me and my best friend. We have a journal together, but we want to create one that is more for the men, so that
Mm,
it'll attract them as well. So that's another good thing. I would say that that's like the second best rewarding. My brothers are, they're boys, millennials, and the one that lives near me, he's gotten Reiki. And when he texts me and he's like, I need a Reiki, it just warms my heart, because it's like, you're
mhm.
just a 29-year-old young black man and you could be out in the street doing anything. Like, you've come a long way to ask me for energy healing and to refer his friends and their parents to it.
That's
One thing that
wonderful.
I One thing that I found out at a retreat recently that I did not know, and I'm actually doing, going to be doing more study into it, is that there are specific foods that are associated with the
The
chakras.
chakras.
And I found that to be so interesting, not only with the colors, but also with the foods, and the food colors match that to keep your chakras open and keep them clean and cleansed. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a whole lot deeper than I expected or even knew, but it makes sense. What was
Right.
included in each one and what they did, it just makes perfect sense. So,
And I'm gonna call you out. See, you didn't do your homework completely, because in your post Reiki, there's a link, and on that link, I provided has the fruits and the vegetables, the foods, the essential oils, the colors to wear. The link
oh,
provides the breakdown of how you correlate it in your
oh my
daily
God.
practice.
She is calling me out. Oh, I talked a little too much. I had to learn how to be quiet
Did not
sometimes.
that information,
No,
April.
I know. I'm right. I'm talking too much. Let me just shut it down. You are correct. I did not do my homework. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why. Because I was in such awe of my first session and just really, really thinking about what I had discovered. And I really took the time because you told me be mindful of what you take in, and you can't have all this negative energy. And so people were trying to call me with all this, and I don't want to hear that click click. I wasn't answering the phone or anything. So in the midst of me doing that and focusing, I got away from it. But I yeah, you did tell me. You sure did. You sure did. So I didn't do well. Did not, but I will. I will.
It's
So
okay. I appreciate you.
yes, well, I appreciate you because you definitely, with everything that I was doing in my life to better myself, you that part of it helped me so much and will and continues to do so. So I have been, you have definitely been on my mind. Like I need to go back to another Reiki session, and I just need to stop so I can do that. But because it has. I'm a believer. I mean, it helps me so much. I just wouldn't have never thought that I would be open to something like that, but I am. So we definitely appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
I know you're so busy and sharing everything about Reiki therapy, what it's about, how what it does for the body. It's so we're well-rounded people. You don't always need to just I'm going to do this thing and that's going to work. It's not always the case. There are always so many other alternatives and so many options to give you a holistic health, for your body, for your mind, your spirit, everything. We are not just we're spirit, we're energy, we're all of that. And we're just not flesh and organs and organ systems. There's so much more to us than that. So we appreciate you coming on and taking the
Yes.
time.
Thank you, April. I made a new doula, friends.
Yes, hey, I got the hookup. I'm
You
telling you.
do. And listen, when you get that journal out, let me know because I will definitely make sure that I add that as a part of like my doula package for the brother. So I would love to do that collaboration with you. So
Yes, yes,
please, please,
definitely,
please do that.
definitely. That is like on my list, my never-ending list of things that I come up with. I'm like all
Me
over.
too.
I'm literally an Aquarius. I am my sign. I tell people that all the time. I get something and I run with it, and I just want more people to reach it. Like, I can't help every individual person as much as I would want to because then I'll spread myself thin. But just
Right.
these little things are still reaching, the community, and it's still giving back in some type of way. But I do
Right.
appreciate you, ladies. And yes, thank you, April, for the opportunity and allowing me to have a new doula friend. So, if you do have Instagram, follow me so I can follow you back, or give yours to April so I can
I definitely
follow
will.
on social media.
Right. Okay, so we have one question. Another one said, "Wow, so foods correlate to chakras." They want to get a link. So how can they just search that in Google or
Yeah,
anywhere?
yep. You can Google it. Honestly, Pinterest is my best friend.
Mm.
TikTok is another thing that teaches me a lot. Even as a Reiki practitioner, or I teach Reiki now, and I'm still learning myself. So TikTok is my best friend for correlation. Google, you can Google. There's like different charts on Pinterest. Five Below, surprisingly, is your best friend. They have a whole chakra section, and in their
Oh,
book section, they have books about Reiki, like what it is, Reiki as a practitioner, Reiki as someone who's just getting into it in general. So, yeah, Google anything. Like right now, it's limitless. Get creative with it. Like I said, Pinterest and um, Etsy, they have a lot of charts and very better, like much more visuals that you can use to assist you. In addition to like TikTok or Instagram, with people showing it.
Five Below has become my new favorite place. Like I went
Yes,
and bought
everything
journals.
is in Five Below.
Yes, they are. That's the store right there. So I'm going to have to go hit them up for that so I can do more with that. But thank you. We appreciate you
Yes.
coming on so much and sharing that wealth of information. So hopefully those that have been watching or going to watch the show later, your interest is peaked. So you really want to now participate and and go through a session and experience that. It is an experience that you don't want to miss out on. I guarantee you, you will get it. If you get one thing out of it, then you have succeeded. It's definitely worth it. So Mo, you need to hurry up and go have one yourself. Maybe you
Yes.
can come to Jersey and have it done.
I
Maybe
know.
you need to drive over here.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask where are you located? Are you local
I'm
or
in
not? I
Delaware,
thought you
so
said
I'm not far.
Delaware.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I actually there's no excuse because I did have a client before come from Delaware. So two
Okay.
actually came
Okay.
from
Yeah. I was
Delaware.
like, my mom actually isn't too far from you either. So I was like, I
Okay,
can definitely, yeah. You're still
definitely.
in my neck of the woods as far as I'm concerned. I'm a Jersey girl
Okay.
anyway,
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Well, definitely get that taken care of, get that done. So, y'all, that we have been on here for a minute. Like we always go over our time, which
I
is
know.
cool. We enjoy it. We have a good time. The conversations are always great. The discussions are wonderful. But next week, so if you don't know, the month of March is dedicated to health and wellness. So if you see already, we've already had stuff going on. I hope you see the theme that we are trying to show you here. But next week, so we're going to go ahead next week. We actually have our therapist coming in, and she owns her own business, and actually Zio is in business with her, so she has a holistic business. So Zio already knows who I'm talking about. She's the therapist, and then there's a massage therapist that's with them, and then Zio with Reiki there, and they have things for kids. So Elrita Godbowl is going to be our guest for next week, and I'm excited to have her come on. She's phenomenal, a great person, very sweet. And so y'all come on back next Tuesday at the same time, the same platform, and we are going to continue on with our month of wellness, health and wellness
I'm so
all
excited.
around.
Look, I need their information so I can plug this group, okay? Because listen, I got folks in Jersey, and I'm gonna just plug y'all. Go right here. Go right here, y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a one-stop shop.
Yes,
You want to try Reiki, you want a massage, you need to see a
exactly.
therapist,
You want a
you know,
doula? You got
it's
it all.
there.
Exactly. Look,
Everything in
I'm
one place.
my type of woman. Thank you very much.
Hey, I told you I got the connections. I'm
You
telling you.
do. You do.
Yeah. I love it. That's what I tell my students. I tell my students, like, when you get ready to graduate from my program, I don't care where you want to go in the United States, you better stay in touch with me because I have connections everywhere. I'm not going to guarantee you a job, but I will guarantee your name will be floating around with the manager. So you better let me know where you want to go because I know people. I know people. So, yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Zio, again for coming on. Mo, it was, as always, it is so great to be
Yes,
with you on this show.
absolutely. No better
Yes.
way to spend my Tuesday nights.
Okay. Aren't you a sweetheart? So, y'all, we are going to sign out for tonight, but we want you to share these videos, share our broadcast, invite more people in. They need to come on and hear this. And you can email us, you can send Mo and I messages for things that you want us to talk about, topics, whatever. We are open. Like we have our schedule, but we can always make some changes. Like we can maneuver around in that. You know, we're not just so strict to our schedule. We can make it what the people want because it's for you. So we're here on the HOP series. We came to inspire you, motivate you, encourage you, uplift you to do those things to become the better version of yourself every single day and find your purpose. Like Zio, the purple purpose. She found her. She's walking and living in her purpose. And we want you as our viewers and those that come on to find the same thing. We want to do that. And we're here to encourage you. We're here to push you. We're here to give you what you need to do that. So until next time,
Until next
next
time.
Tuesday at 7:15,
Yes.
we will see y'all then. And we love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Glow, glow, glow.